If you are seeing this book in the first days of April 2026, take it as a sign. The unseen message appears only when you're finally ready, when something within you is prepared to receive what cannot be explained, only felt. As you listen, you may begin to realize this moment was never sluchai. It was meant to find you. The Unseen Message. Introduction. In the silent, unseen currents where awareness meets form, you have never been merely an observer. You are the quiet architect of all that unfolds. Reality does not happen to you. It rises from you, like a hidden rhythm guiding an eternal dance. The universe does not speak from afar. It breathes through your moments, revealing itself in the patterns of your days. What appears ordinary is, in truth, sacred design. Every encounter, every coincidence, every fleeting thought is part of a deeper correspondence, an intimate dialogue between your inner world and the vast field of creation. Nothing is random. Everything is responding. The law of attraction is not a force you invoke. It is a law you are already living within. It listens not to surface intentions, but to the subtle frequency of your being. Beneath words and actions lies a vibration, and it is this silent signal that shapes your path, weaving your beliefs into the fabric of experience. You do not need to seek answers in distant stars or ancient scriptures. The signs are already here, woven into the gentle miracles of daily life. A thought answered before it is spoken. A stranger's kindness echoing your own. A door opening at the exact moment you dare to move forward. These are not accidents. They are reflections, whispers of your own creative essence. The universe speaks only one language: resonance. What you hold within, you meet without. Like draws like, with an elegance beyond doubt. Your emotions are not fleeting, they are magnetic. Your thoughts are not private, they are formative. In this sacred exchange, gratitude multiplies, love expands, and belief in abundance calls forth its mirror. There is no need to force or chase what you desire. Creation responds to alignment, not effort. When your inner state harmonizes with what you seek, the path unfolds with quiet certainty. In this alignment, you become not just a participant, but a conscious channel of universal flow. Know this: the conversation never ceases. Every moment carries a message. Every experience is a reflection. Every breath is an invitation to attune yourself, to remember that what you seek is already seeking you, waiting for you to meet it in frequency. Before we get into the book, comment "I am ready" to affirm your intention to the universe. Part 1. The Awakening of Frequency. Chapter 1. The Spark Beneath the Ordinary. Opening herself to miracles doesn't require grand gestures. This truth unveiled itself to Millie Thomas one ordinary morning as sunlight caught the rim of her coffee cup, transforming a routine moment into an awakening. The universe had been speaking to her through this simple vessel each day, yet only when she finally noticed its gleam did she understand the language of everyday magic. In the depths of what appears mundane lies the pulse of universal law. Your attention, like Millie's, shapes the reality you experience. Each emotion you carry becomes a beacon, drawing experiences that match its frequency. When Millie shifted from seeing her chipped mug as a symbol of monotony to recognizing it as a daily blessing, the universe responded in kind. Synchronicities began to sparkle through her hours like morning dew catching light. The story of Henry Boone's journal reveals another layer of this truth. In those chapters, written over a decade, lay not just wishes, but evidence of the law of attraction's subtle power. Each entry represented a moment when Henry aligned with the frequency of possibility. His desires manifested not through complex ritual or endless striving, but through the pure resonance of belief captured in those quiet moments of writing. Your own life whispers these same truths. Every object around you holds the potential to become a bridge between the visible and invisible realms. The law of attraction operates not through the words you speak or the actions you take, but through the emotional current flowing beneath them. The practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Choose an object you encounter daily, perhaps a cup like Millie's or a pen like Henry's. Hold it in your hands and allow appreciation to rise naturally. Feel its texture, its weight, its presence. Let gratitude fill you until the object seems to pulse with new significance. This simple act is not mere imagination. It is a realignment of your vibrational frequency. In this state of appreciation, you open a channel through which the universe can respond with increased abundance. Practice this for a few minutes each day, allowing the ordinary to reveal its extraordinary nature. Chapter 2. The Quiet Architecture of Desire. The whispers of the universe often go unheard when we shout our desires into the void. Ruby Mae Collins understood this truth only after years of clutching her dreams so tightly they began to wither. Each morning, she would stand before her mirror, reciting affirmations with desperation rather than faith, her words heavy with the weight of doubt. Yet the universe responds not to the volume of our wishes, but to the frequency of our being. Like a delicate instrument that registers the subtlest vibrations, it attunes itself to the quiet certainty in our hearts rather than the loud proclamations of our lips. Ruby Mae discovered this wisdom when she finally released her grip on how her dreams should manifest. The law of attraction operates through resonance, not through force. When you align your emotional state with the essence of what you seek, you become a natural conduit for its manifestation. This truth revealed itself through Charlie Grant's journey with his bakery. Rather than frantically pursuing success, he chose to inhabit the feeling of it. Each morning, before opening his doors, he would pause and allow himself to experience the satisfaction of a thriving business. He didn't just imagine it, he lived it in his heart. The universe mirrors back to us the energetic signature we emit. When Charlie shifted from anxious hoping to peaceful knowing, life responded in kind. Investors appeared as naturally as dawn follows night, drawn by the authentic energy of success he had cultivated within himself. This principle extends beyond mere coincidence into the realm of universal law. The emotional frequency you maintain becomes your point of attraction, drawing to you circumstances that match its vibration. Worry attracts more reasons to worry. Calm expectancy attracts fulfillment. The key lies not in perfect thoughts, but in perfecting your ability to hold the feeling of what you desire as if it were already yours. Practice. Find a quiet moment and settle into a comfortable position. Close your eyes and bring to mind something you deeply desire. Now, rather than reaching for it with your thoughts, Allow yourself to sink into the feeling of already having received it. Let this feeling of completion wash over you, as natural as breathing. Remain in this state of peaceful certainty for several minutes, teaching the universe through your emotional harmony that you are ready to receive. This is the language of manifestation, speaking through the heart rather than the voice. Chapter 3. A Whisper in the Field. In the ancient streets of a timeless city, a woman walked with head bowed, her heart heavy with grief. Sadie Lee Porter had lost her mother months before, yet the emptiness felt fresh as morning dew. But one dawn, something changed. A white feather, pristine and delicate, rested upon her doorstep. She picked it up, remembering how her mother always said angels left feathers as calling cards. The next day, another feather appeared on her office desk. Then another floated down as she walked through the park. Soon feathers became her daily companions, each one arriving at moments when she needed strength most. The universe speaks in whispers first, then in patterns for those who listen with wonder rather than doubt. Through this language of gentle signs, the law of attraction reveals itself not as a stern teacher, but as a playful friend. When you approach the invisible with childlike curiosity, rather than desperate need, it dances with your attention. The field of infinite possibility responds not to demands, but to the light touch of believing eyes. Consider Louis Franklin, who lost his beloved companion of 12 years, a golden retriever named Sun. After weeks of searching, exhaustion finally claimed him. That night, in his dreams, he saw Sun running through familiar streets, tail wagging in joyful reunion. Upon waking, the sound of barking drew him to his porch, where Sun sat waiting, as if returning from a brief adventure rather than a long absence. These stories whisper a truth. The universe arranges itself around your expectations when they arise from pure belief rather than anxious hoping. Signs and synchronicities multiply not when tested, but when welcomed with open-hearted trust. The field of all possibility reads your emotional signature more clearly than your words or actions. The veil between what you imagine and what manifests is thinner than morning mist. Your inner world is not separate from the outer. They are one canvas, painted with the brushstrokes of your dominant feelings and beliefs. Sacred practice. As the sun rises tomorrow, declare softly to yourself that evidence of universal kindness surrounds you. Move through your day with gentle attention, knowing that signs will appear. A perfectly timed song on the radio, an unexpected smile from a stranger, a feather crossing your path. Receive each one as a loving response from the field of infinite possibility. Let your heart play with these signs like a child collecting seashells, for in this state of joyful expectancy, you align with the highest vibrations of creation. Chapter 4. The Mirror of Allowing. In the valleys of ancient wisdom, there exists a truth so simple that many overlook its power. It speaks of the art of allowing, a practice that transforms struggle into grace. This teaching unfolds through the story of Nora Jean Abbott, whose days were measured in endless tasks and ceaseless striving. From sunrise to twilight, Nora Jean gripped life with white knuckles, believing that control meant progress. Her garden withered beneath her constant fussing, her relationships strained under her need to orchestrate every moment, and her dreams felt further away with each exhausting effort to force them into being. The universe whispered its guidance through her fatigue, but she was too busy pushing to listen. The law of attraction operates with an intelligence far beyond our limited perspective. It weaves possibilities through the fabric of time with an artistry that no human planning could match. This truth became clear through Victor Dale's journey of surrender. Victor had built his business through sheer force of will, scheduling every minute, pursuing every lead with relentless determination. Yet success remained elusive, slipping through his fingers like water. One evening, worn thin by endless strategizing, he sat in his office and finally released his grip on how everything should be. In that moment of surrender, something shifted. He began to trust in perfect timing rather than perfect planning. Instead of chasing opportunities, he cultivated an inner knowing that the right connections would find him. Within weeks, a chance encounter at a coffee shop led to his largest contract. A delayed flight placed him next to an investor who shared his vision. The very opportunities he had struggled to create began flowing effortlessly into his path. When you release the need to control every detail, you align with the natural current of manifestation. This is not passive resignation, but active trust, a sophisticated form of power that understands the difference between doing and being. The universe responds not to your strain, but to your state. Your work is not to force the river's flow, but to align with its direction. Each time you feel the urge to push, pause and remember. The law of attraction is already orchestrating circumstances far beyond what your logical mind can arrange. Practice. Find a quiet space and settle into a comfortable position. Take 3 deep breaths, and with each exhale, release the weight of trying to control outcomes. Softly speak these words. Divine timing is my ally. I trust in the perfect unfolding of all things. Feel the gentle relaxation that comes with this surrender. This sensation of ease is your signal that you have aligned with the natural flow of manifestation. Chapter 5. The Compass of Emotion. The soft whispers of your emotions hold messages more precious than gold. Yet so often these signals are misread as judgments against you. In ancient times, wise ones understood that feelings were not rewards or punishments, but rather a sacred compass pointing toward alignment with universal truth. Within the depths of your being lies an eternal knowing, a connection to the infinite intelligence that orchestrates galaxies. When sadness or despair visits you, it arrives not as a sentence of unworthiness, but as a gentle tap on the shoulder from your inner being, saying, "This thought you're thinking, it does not match who you truly are." The universe, in its infinite wisdom, has gifted you with an emotional guidance system of unparalleled sophistication. Each feeling is a response to the gap between your current thoughts and your soul's knowing. When you think thoughts that align with your true nature, joy flows naturally. When you entertain beliefs that contradict your essence, discomfort rises as a loving alert. Consider how a flower doesn't strain to blossom. It simply turns toward the light. Similarly, your path to alignment requires no force, only a willingness to pivot toward better-feeling thoughts. This is not about denying or suppressing what you feel, but about understanding that relief is always available one small step at a time. George Whitman discovered this truth during his darkest hour, where once he met each perceived failure with harsh self-judgment, he began instead to ask with genuine curiosity, "What if this feeling is trying to show me something?" This simple shift from criticism to curiosity opened doorways he never knew existed. Hope began to peek through the cracks of his despair, not because he demanded it, but because he allowed it to emerge naturally. This ancient wisdom whispers, "Your emotions are not your enemies, but faithful guides leading you back to your natural state of well-being. When you feel less than joyful, it is merely your inner being's way of saying, 'There is an easier way, a path of less resistance.'" The practice of emotional awareness is both profound and simple. Take a moment now to name the feeling present within you. Without trying to change or fix it, acknowledge its presence. Then, with the gentleness of a parent guiding a child, explore what thought might feel slightly better. Each small movement toward relief is the universe celebrating your return to natural alignment. This is not about forcing yourself to leap from despair to ecstasy. It is about trusting that each subtle shift toward comfort is perfect and enough. Chapter 6. The Hidden Science of Faith. In the ancient desert city of Khartoum, there lived a wise merchant who taught his apprentices that the heart knows in an instant what the mind takes years to understand. This truth would later echo through time to touch the life of Clara June Benson, whose devotion to spreadsheets and careful analysis had become her shield against uncertainty. Each morning, Clara June would meticulously chart her goals, breaking them into measurable steps and logical progressions. Yet despite her thorough planning, the results often fell short of her expectations. The universe, it seemed, operated on principles beyond the reach of her carefully constructed frameworks. The turning point came when she noticed a pattern. Her most significant successes had emerged not from detailed plans, but from moments of pure, unfettered knowing. The promotion she received came after a night of peaceful certainty. The perfect apartment manifested following an inexplicable feeling that led her down an unexpected street. This wisdom flows through the eternal fabric of existence. Your emotional compass points truer than any map of logic. When you align with this knowing, the universe responds not to your plans, but to your resonance. Your inner being speaks the language of feeling, sending signals through your emotions that guide you toward or away from alignment with your desires. Wallace Reid's journey mirrors this fundamental truth. A professor of mathematics, he approached love with algorithms and compatibility matrices. For years, he searched for partnership through dating apps and careful selection criteria, yet found himself increasingly isolated. It wasn't until he learned to trust the feeling of love itself, to embody the emotion of being in a fulfilling relationship, that his circumstances began to shift. Wallace began a simple practice. Each morning, he would sit quietly and allow himself to feel the warmth of companionship, the joy of shared laughter, the peace of belonging. He stopped analyzing potential matches and instead focused on maintaining this emotional frequency. Within months, at a colleague's gallery opening he felt inexplicably drawn to attend, he met someone who matched his heart's knowing rather than his mind's checklist. The law of attraction operates through vibrational harmony, not logical progression. When you understand that your emotions are sophisticated guidance systems, you begin to navigate life with greater precision than any analytical tool could provide. Your feelings are not random reactions, but refined instruments of cosmic alignment. Ancient practice of emotional calibration. Choose one cherished dream and approach it as a sacred experiment. Each day for 7 days, record your emotional state regarding this desire. Don't track external progress or search for signs. Instead, Note the subtle shifts in your feelings as you visualize your desire. Watch how life begins to mirror back the exact frequency you maintain, teaching you that your emotions are the true architects of your reality. Chapter 7. The Gift of Contrast. Far across rolling hills, in a timeless village, chapters between ancient mountains, lived a shepherd named Haran. Each dawn, he counted his sheep with mounting frustration, yearning for more than the endless cycle of grazing and gathering. His heart ached for adventure beyond the familiar pastures, yet he saw only limitation in his circumstance. Through your own experiences, you have witnessed this eternal truth. What appears as hardship serves as the fertile soil from which deeper wisdom grows. The universe, in its infinite intelligence, presents contrast not to discourage, but to crystallize desire with extraordinary precision. When circumstances feel heavy, remember that contrast acts as the master sculptor, chiseling away what does not serve to reveal the masterpiece within. Your dissatisfaction whispers ancient wisdom. Through knowing what you do not want, you gain crystal clarity about what you do want. Consider the merchant Sophia, who spent years behind her shop counter, counting coins and measuring grain. Each transaction felt like a prison until she recognized that her frustration had carved an exact path to her true calling. Her desire for freedom led her to teach others the art of commerce, transforming her limitation into liberation. The law of attraction responds not to complaint, but to the pure energy of focused desire. When you stand in contrast, you stand at the threshold of transformation. Your awareness of what you don't want becomes the compass pointing toward what you do want. This truth echoes through the story of Alejandro, the scribe who copied texts in candlelight until his eyes grew weary. His frustration with the dim light inspired him to discover new methods of illumination, blessing his entire village. The contrast of darkness helped him define and attract the light. Remember, the universe delivers not through the energy of complaint, but through the power of clarified desire. Each moment of contrast serves as sacred instruction, teaching you to refine your vibration with greater precision. Ancient practice. Throughout your day, when something annoys you, mentally thank it for refining your asking and sense the emotional relief of progress disguised as frustration. Chapter 8. The Music of Thought. In the heart of a bustling marketplace, there lived a weaver who crafted the most exquisite tapestries. Each morning, she would whisper to her threads, "These hands are clumsy. This work is never enough." And each evening, her creations fell short of her dreams. Yet hidden in her struggle lay a sacred lesson about the threads we weave with our words. Your words are not mere expressions. They are living frequencies that ripple through the fabric of existence. Each thought you repeat becomes a thread in the tapestry of your reality. The universe responds not to the dictionary meaning of your words, but to their vibrational essence. Just as a musician must tune their instrument before playing a symphony, you must tune your words to harmonize with your desires. When you say, "I can't," you're not merely expressing doubt. You're transmitting a frequency that the universe mirrors back with mathematical precision. Your repeated phrases become the background music of your manifestations. Consider how Ellie June Dalton discovered this truth. Her life seemed locked in a pattern of near misses and almosts, until she recognized the subtle power of her habitual phrases. "It's too hard," and "nothing works for me," had become her daily mantras, creating an invisible barrier between her desires and their manifestation. The transformation began when she started listening to her own words as if they were notes in a song. Each "I can't" became painfully discordant to her awakened awareness. This mirrors Leonard Knox's journey. He noticed that every time he replaced "I can't" with "I am learning," the universe responded as if to a different frequency altogether. Opportunities that had seemed hidden suddenly became visible, as if they had been waiting for the right vibrational key. Your words are seeds planted in the fertile soil of universal consciousness. They grow exactly what you plant, without judgment or amendment. The law of attraction doesn't distinguish between wanted and unwanted. It simply matches frequencies with unwavering precision. The path of practice. Listen today as if language is melody. Pay attention to the words you speak, treating them as musical notes in the symphony of your life. When you catch yourself in negative repetition, pause, breathe. Choose words that resonate with appreciation. Speak them softly, feeling their vibration change your emotional state. Notice how the universe begins to dance to your new refrain, matching your shifted frequency with experiences that mirror your elevated words. Chapter 9. The Gentle Art of Receiving. In a village chapters among ancient hills, there lived a weaver known for her exquisite tapestries. Each day she would gift her creations to those in need, yet when others offered to help carry her heavy loads of wool or share their bread, she would turn away with a polite refusal. Her hands grew calloused, her back bent with strain, but still she resisted all aid. The universe speaks through the natural flow of give and receive, a sacred dance as old as creation itself. Just as the earth accepts rain before offering fruits, and flowers welcome sunlight before sharing their fragrance, your ability to receive determines the fullness of your giving. When you close yourself to receiving, you create resistance in the cosmic current of abundance. Think of a stream. It cannot flow if it only gives water downstream but refuses the source upstream. This eternal truth lies at the heart of manifestation. Abundance requires both outlets and inlets. Your resistance to receiving is not humility. It is an unconscious declaration to the universe that you are unworthy of its gifts. The nature of energy is cyclical. Every breath demonstrates this wisdom. You must inhale fully before you can exhale completely. The law of attraction responds not to your actions alone, but to your willingness to participate in the complete cycle of abundance. When you block receiving, you unknowingly signal the universe that you prefer limitation. Frances Maybell's story mirrors this truth. Her generosity flowed endlessly outward, yet her discomfort with receiving created an energetic dam, holding back the very abundance she wished to share with others. Her breakthrough came when she realized that accepting help wasn't weakness. It was completion of the universal circuit of exchange. Eugene Moss discovered this wisdom through his creative work. For years, he dismissed compliments and declined assistance, believing self-reliance meant solitary struggle. The moment he allowed himself to receive praise with grace, to accept support with gratitude, his entire existence transformed. Projects that once drained him began to energize him. Opportunities multiplied not through additional effort, but through the natural expansion that occurs when energy flows freely both ways. The teaching of the ancients whispers, "To receive is to honor the giver. When you accept graciously, you acknowledge the divine flow working through others to reach you. Your acceptance becomes a blessing, completing the circle of abundance that sustains all life. The practice of sacred receiving. As this day unfolds, when someone offers kindness, whether a compliment, assistance, or a simple gesture, pause and breathe deeply. Feel yourself opening like a flower to sunlight. Accept their offering as the universe practicing through them, allowing the warmth of receiving to fill your heart. Notice how your worth expands in these moments as the cosmic circulation restores its natural flow. This is not merely acceptance, it is participation in the grand symphony of universal abundance. Chapter 10. The Door Called Now. In a quiet valley, chapters between ancient hills, lived a woman who spent her days dreaming of tomorrow's joy. Each morning she would gaze at the mountains and whisper, "When I achieve my goals, then I will smile as brightly as the sun." Yet the universe holds a truth as old as time itself. The power of creation dwells not in future moments, but in the sacred now. The fabric of existence responds not to the calendar's march, but to the vibration you hold in this breath, this heartbeat, this instant of being. Your tomorrows are born from the feeling tone of your present. This wisdom lay hidden in plain sight, until masters throughout the ages unveiled its simplicity. What you feel now becomes what you live later. Opal Grace Hunter discovered this truth after years of pushing her happiness ahead like a horizon that never drew closer. "When I find the perfect home," she would say, "then I'll feel settled." Or, "Once my business succeeds, I'll allow myself to celebrate." But the universe, in its infinite wisdom, could only reflect back the energy she currently held, the energy of waiting, of incompleteness, of joy perpetually deferred. Meanwhile, across town, Chester Doyle ran his small bookstore with similar thoughts of delayed satisfaction. "I'll feel successful when I open a second location," he promised himself. Yet his postponed joy became the very anchor that held his dreams at bay. The law of attraction, you see, knows no difference between now and later. It simply matches the frequency you currently broadcast. The shift came for both when they understood a fundamental truth. The universe doesn't await future conditions to grant happiness. It responds to present frequencies. When Opal began to feel the peace of home in her current apartment, a perfect house appeared within weeks. When Chester allowed himself to celebrate each book sold as if it were his greatest success, his business flourished naturally. Their stories illuminate an eternal principle. Manifestation occurs not in the future, but in the now. Every moment holds the seed of creation, waiting for the water of your present joy to bring it to life. The universe doesn't check your circumstances to decide if you deserve to feel abundant. It checks your current feeling to know what to match. The key lies not in perfecting tomorrow's conditions, but in mastering today's vibration. When you allow yourself to feel now what you think you must wait to feel later, you unlock the portal through which your desires flow into reality. Practice. Close your eyes and bring to mind one cherished wish. Instead of placing it in some distant future, draw it into this very moment. Breathe as if it's already yours. Feel the completion, the satisfaction, the joy of it, here and now. Let your body relax into the reality of having, not waiting. This feeling is your signal to the universe, your present moment magnet that calls forth its physical equivalent. Hold this vibration not as practice for later, but as the very key that opens manifestation's door. Part 2. The Conversation with the Infinite. Chapter 11. The Ever-Present Sign. A merchant once carried a clay jar he believed was ordinary, using it daily to fetch water. Years passed before he noticed the intricate patterns etched inside its rim, ancient symbols that had been whispering wisdom with every pore. Like this merchant, you walk through a world dense with messages, each moment carved with meaning that awaits your recognition. The law of attraction operates not through dramatic interventions, but through the quiet conversation already flowing between your consciousness and creation. When you understand this, life's seemingly random events reveal themselves as precisely arranged responses to your vibrational state. Consider how Delilah June Harper transformed her perception. She had spent years scanning horizons for grand signs, missing the intimate dialogue happening in her own experience. The shift came when she realized that every flutter of emotion, every subtle inclination, was the universe's immediate response to her frequency. Owen Blake's story illuminates this truth further. By treating each encounter as meaningful correspondence, he discovered that the universe speaks through synchronicity, through the rhythm of daily life. When his car broke down outside a bookstore rather than seeing inconvenience, he recognized invitation. Inside, he found the very guidance he had been seeking, packaged as a chance meeting with a mentor who would later become instrumental in his success. The teaching reveals itself. There is no separation between the message and the messenger. Your life experience is not a series of accidents, but a continuous stream of feedback, reflecting your dominant vibration with perfect accuracy. The universe doesn't send occasional signals. It is the signal, responding to your frequency in every moment. As your awareness expands, you'll notice that what you once dismissed as ordinary circumstances are actually precise arrangements of energy, responding to your thoughts and expectations. A delayed train becomes a divine timing mechanism. An unexpected phone call carries the exact information needed for your next step. Even the pattern of raindrops on your window holds answers to questions you've been asking. Practice. As you move through today, pretend every face, sound, and pattern is the universe winking at you, and let that amusement lift your vibration until reality itself smiles back unmistakably as your everlasting sign. Chapter 12. The Signature of Belonging. In a small village among ancient hills, a weaver named Hazel Jean Carter spent her days crafting beautiful tapestries while feeling disconnected from those around her. Though her hands created patterns that brought joy to others, her heart remained heavy with the weight of perceived separation. Each morning, she would watch villagers gather in the square, their laughter and easy companionship a reminder of her self-imposed isolation. The law of attraction speaks a universal language that transcends all earthly boundaries. Like the wind that knows no borders, or the sun that shines equally upon all beings, this cosmic force responds to the vibration of your inner state, not to the artificial divisions humans have created. Your sense of belonging stems not from external acceptance, but from your alignment with the infinite intelligence that flows through all life. When you understand this truth, you recognize that exclusion exists only in thought, never in the fabric of reality itself. The universe maintains no guest list, requires no credentials, and holds no prejudices. It simply responds to the frequency you emanate, matching your inner conviction with outer experience. Consider Clarence Boyd, a merchant who wandered the trading routes, feeling forever marked as different. His story changed the moment he ceased seeking approval and instead claimed his rightful place in the cosmic dance. Rather than presenting credentials of worthiness, he began to recognize the same life force flowing through himself and others. As this awareness grew, remarkable coincidences appeared. Chance meetings led to meaningful partnerships, random conversations unveiled profound opportunities, and strangers became allies in his journey. The shift occurred not because the world suddenly decided to accept him, but because he aligned with the truth that acceptance had always been his natural state. Each synchronicity served as confirmation of what his heart had finally embraced, that belonging is not earned but remembered. You too are woven into this grand tapestry of existence. Your uniqueness does not separate you from the whole but adds to its beauty. When you release the need to prove your worth or justify your presence, you allow your natural resonance with life to emerge. This is not about fitting in, but about recognizing you were never truly separate. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, has already chosen you as its expression. Your task is not to earn this belonging, but to acknowledge it. Like a wave remembering it is the ocean. Your awareness of unity dissolves the illusion of isolation. Ancient practice for universal connection. Find a quiet moment and settle into a comfortable position. Close your eyes and imagine a golden light pulsing at your heart center. With each breath, allow this light to expand, reaching out to connect with the same divine spark in others. As you move through your day, carry this awareness with you. See each person you encounter as another expression of the same life force that flows through you. Notice how this shift in perception begins to transform your experience of reality, as the boundaries between self and other gradually dissolve into a recognition of shared being. Watch as fear of rejection transforms into an appreciation of diversity, and notice how reality begins to mirror back this understanding through unexpected moments of connection and synchronicity. The universe delights in showing you evidence of your belonging once you align with this truth. Remember, you are not seeking to join the dance of life. You are the dance itself, expressing in your unique and perfect way. Chapter 13. The Echo of Intention. In the heart of a small village, a woman lived who spent her days in constant negotiation with fate. Bonnie Lee Curtis would kneel by her bedside each night, pouring her wishes into whispered prayers, only to rise with seeds of doubt already taking root. Her pattern was familiar. Hope followed swiftly by hesitation, like footprints washing away in the tide. The universe operates with perfect precision, reflecting back the lasting vibration you maintain, not the fleeting one you cast. When you launch a desire skyward only to shoot it down with doubt, you create spiritual static, a mixed signal that leaves the universal forces uncertain which frequency to match. The truth reveals itself with elegant simplicity. Your final emotional note becomes your signature frequency. Like the lingering resonance of a bell, it is not the initial strike, but the sustained tone that shapes the air around it. This principle illuminates why some prayers seem to evaporate, while others materialize with stunning accuracy. Irving Cole discovered this wisdom through years of frustrated manifestation attempts. His breakthrough came when he began treating each request as a complete circle, closing it with the same reverence with which he opened it. After expressing his desires, he would sit in quiet gratitude, as though the outcome already existed. This simple shift transformed his reality. Within months, opportunities began appearing in perfect sequence: business partnerships, creative inspirations, chance encounters that led to profound connections. The difference wasn't in what he asked for, but in how he sealed each intention with unshakable appreciation. His story teaches us that gratitude is not merely a response to receiving. It is the magnetic force that draws fulfillment near. The law of attraction responds not to the intensity of your initial asking, but to the lasting imprint of your belief. Think of it as a photographer's darkroom. The image develops according to the final exposure, not the first flash of light. Your sustained emotional state is the developer that brings your desires into focus. Ancient practice. As this day draws to a close, select one heart's desire and wrap it in genuine thankfulness. As you prepare for sleep, let your final thoughts be of absolute certainty in its unfolding. Feel the peace of knowing it is already complete in the unseen realm, simply waiting to materialize in perfect timing. This practice, maintained with consistency, becomes your signature of certainty, the imprint to which the universe must respond. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Secret Audience. In the deep shadows before dawn, Polly Ann Brooks sat before her easel, paintbrush hovering over canvas. For years she had painted what she thought others wanted to see: safe landscapes, predictable still lifes, portraits that pleased her clients but left her soul untouched. Each stroke felt hollow, each completed work a compromise. Then one morning something shifted. Instead of reaching for her usual muted palette, her hand found vibrant purples and golds. Without planning or purpose, she began to paint purely from the whispers of her heart. The canvas filled with swirling patterns that made no logical sense, yet sang with an inner harmony she had never before achieved. "This will never sell," she thought. But for the first time, that thought carried no sting. The joy of pure creation had become its own reward, its own completion. She continued painting this way, filling her studio with works that reflected her soul's voice rather than market demands. Within weeks, a stranger walked past her open studio window, stopped, and came inside, drawn by an inexplicable force to one of her new pieces. More followed: collectors, gallery owners, fellow artists, each discovering her work through seemingly random circumstances that, when examined closely, revealed an orchestrated dance of synchronicity. The universal law unveiled itself. Authentic expression carries a unique vibration that calls to its perfect witnesses. Like Malcolm Vance, who recorded melodies in his basement studio, playing what moved him rather than what trending charts suggested. He shared his music online without expectation, and soon found his inbox filled with messages from listeners across the globe who claimed his songs had appeared in their feeds at exactly the right moment. The teaching crystallizes through these stories. The universe responds not to striving, but to truthful expression. When you create from genuine inspiration, you tap into a frequency that transcends ordinary networking and marketing. Your authentic voice becomes a beacon that draws precisely the right observers, supporters, and collaborators. The invisible realm recognizes and amplifies sincerity. It knows the difference between art made from obligation and art born from joy. When you release the need for approval and create purely from your inner wellspring, you activate a magnetic force that arranges perfect connections. Sacred practice. Choose one creative act today, whether writing, painting, singing, cooking, or crafting, and approach it with pure joy. Release all thoughts of judgment or outcome. As you create, feel the pleasure of expression itself. Trust that your authentic vibration is already being received and celebrated by the unseen forces that orchestrate all connections. Let your joy be your only measure of success. Chapter 15. The Alchemy of Appreciation. Once in a distant village, there lived an old merchant who kept a peculiar book. Each evening, as the sun painted the sky in amber hues, he would write a single blessing in its chapters. Some days, when trade was slow and his shelves gathered dust, he could only write of the warmth of sunlight or the sound of birds at dawn. Yet with each entry, his fortunes mysteriously improved until his small shop became a gathering place of abundance. The universe speaks through the language of appreciation. When you bow in gratitude before what is, you unlock the gateway to what can be. This truth echoes through the ages. Appreciation is not merely a response to abundance. It is the very seed from which abundance grows. June Bell Snyder discovered this wisdom during her darkest hour. Her garden had withered, her savings had dwindled, and her spirit felt hollow. Yet one morning she chose to thank the universe for her cup of tea, its warmth between her palms, the steam rising like a prayer. She thanked the morning light filtering through her window, the chair supporting her weight, the air filling her lungs. This simple practice transformed her frequency. With each whispered thank you, she aligned herself with the frequency of receiving. Her garden began to bloom out of season. Unexpected checks arrived in her mail. Neighbors brought food and friendship. She had stumbled upon the ancient alchemical truth. Gratitude transmutes scarcity into abundance. Everett Shaw's story mirrors this principle. Plagued by sleepless nights, his mind racing with worries, he began a ritual of listing 3 blessings before bed. At first he struggled to find anything worthy of thanks. But as he persisted, something shifted. His gratitude for small comforts, a soft pillow, a warm blanket, the quiet of night, began to multiply into larger gifts. Sleep returned, bringing with it renewed energy and unexpected opportunities. Their experiences illuminate a universal truth. Appreciation is not passive observation but active creation. Each thank you is a seed planted in the fertile soil of possibility. The law of attraction responds not to what you have, but to how you feel about what you have. When you train your attention on what brings joy, you become a magnet for more joyful experiences. This ancient practice beckons to you now. Whisper 3 silent thank yous today for simple things, allowing the emotion to swell like warmth in your chest, and the unseen will echo it back, multiplied. Chapter 16. The Bridge Between Thoughts and Matter. In the annals of wisdom, there exists a truth as old as time itself. Manifestation follows the physics of feeling, not the mechanics of miracle. This revelation unfolded before Beatrice Long as she watched the seasons change, each flower blooming not by magic, but through the precise orchestration of natural law. Long had spent years treating manifestation as supernatural intervention, waiting for lightning strikes of divine favor. Yet the universe whispered a simpler truth. Thoughts carry energetic weight, creating ripples in the fabric of reality just as surely as stones cast into still waters. Each thought, when held with clarity and emotional resonance, becomes a blueprint for physical expression. The ancient masters understood this principle. They knew that manifestation operates through consistent laws, as reliable as gravity, as predictable as dawn. When Beatrice began approaching her desires with this understanding, treating them as energy seeking form rather than wishes awaiting grace, her reality shifted with newfound precision. Vernon Pierce's journey illuminates this truth with crystalline clarity. Each morning, he would notice small synchronicities, a perfect parking space, an unexpected discount, a timely phone call. Initially, he dismissed these as coincidence, but when he chose to accept them as confirmation of universal law, larger manifestations began flowing with natural ease. His business expanded, relationships deepened, and opportunities appeared with increasing frequency. His experience teaches us that the universe responds not to the size of our dreams, but to the clarity of our vibration. A simple thought, held steady in the light of unwavering belief, carries more manifesting power than a grand vision clouded by doubt. The key lies not in the scale of desire, but in the consistency of trust. The bridge between thought and form is built with emotional expectancy. When you align your feelings with the outcome you seek, you create a vibrational match that the universe must honor. This is not mysticism, but mathematics, the precise calculation of energetic equivalence. What once seemed miraculous reveals itself as natural law, operating with perfect precision through the medium of feeling. The universe does not differentiate between big and small requests. It responds purely to the clarity and emotional resonance of the asking. Sacred practice. Find a quiet moment and settle into peaceful awareness. Picture your heart's desire as pure light, waiting on the shores of possibility. See before you a bridge of golden light, stretching from where you are to where that desire lives. Feel gratitude rising within you, as if you're already crossing that bridge. Let this feeling fill your entire being, knowing that this very moment of alignment has already set the wheels of manifestation in motion. Your desire is no longer a distant hope. It is physics in action, energy taking form, reality responding to the precision of your focus. Chapter 17. The Sacred Pause. In the hushed corners of an ancient garden, Patsy Lou Morgan had worn her voice thin with affirmations, believing that more words meant stronger manifestations. Day after day, she spoke her desires into the air until exhaustion dimmed her spirit. Her story unveils a truth often overlooked in the practice of creation, the profound power of silence. The universe operates in cycles of expression and stillness, like the natural rhythm of breathing. When you speak your desire, you plant a seed in the fertile soil of infinite possibility. But seeds require darkness and quiet to take root. They grow not through constant tending, but through periods of undisturbed development. Patsy discovered this wisdom when her throat grew too tired to continue her daily affirmations. In that forced quiet, she felt something shift, a deepening of her connection to the unseen. The silence wasn't empty. It hummed with potential. Her manifestations, which had seemed stuck despite endless proclamations, began moving with surprising speed. This mirrors the ancient teaching that the void is not absence, but pure creative potential. The spaces between your thoughts carry as much manifesting power as the thoughts themselves. Like music, which finds its meaning not just in notes but in the pauses between them, your creative force gains strength through moments of sacred stillness. Nelson Clay's experience exemplifies this principle with striking clarity. Overwhelmed by stalled projects and mounting deadlines, he chose what seemed counterintuitive, a day of complete rest. No planning, no solving, no attempting to force outcomes. In that deliberate pause, the universe found room to orchestrate solutions that his busy mind could never have engineered. The next morning, emails arrived with unexpected solutions. Colleagues had independently resolved issues he'd been struggling with. Opportunities appeared that required no effort on his part. By stepping back, he had created space for the universe to step forward. This reveals a fundamental truth about the law of attraction. Manifestation continues in your silence. Just as a garden grows while the gardener sleeps, your desires take form in the quiet moments when you release the need to manage their unfolding. The mistake many make is believing that constant action or affirmation is necessary to maintain creative momentum. Yet the universe requires no supervision. Your initial clear intention, followed by trusting silence, creates the perfect conditions for manifestation. Sacred practice. Find a comfortable space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and recall your heart's desire, acknowledging it once with clear intention. Then allow yourself to sink into complete stillness. Let go of the need to repeat, affirm, or check on your manifestation's progress. Simply rest in the awareness that the universe is orchestrating everything on your behalf. Feel the alive silence around you as pure potential taking shape. Remain in this sacred pause for as long as feels natural, knowing that in your stillness, miracles are being woven into reality. This practice of conscious non-action becomes your most powerful act of creation. Chapter 18. The Light Behind Fear. Once, in a distant village, a young potter trembled before each creation. His hands would shake as he approached the wheel, believing his fear meant inadequacy. Yet it was this very trembling that guided him to craft his finest works. Fear appears as a shadow only because you stand facing away from the light. The moment you turn to meet it, its true nature emerges, pure energy awaiting direction. This energy, this vibration that courses through your body, carries the same power as excitement, anticipation, and wonder. They are not separate forces, but one current expressed through different lenses of perception. The law of attraction responds not to the name you give your emotions, but to their essential frequency. When you label the flutter in your stomach as fear, the universe hears only the intensity of your focus. This same flutter, welcomed as excitement, becomes the wind beneath your wings of manifestation. Lula Dean Hopkins discovered this truth during her darkest hour. Each morning, anxiety would greet her like an unwelcome guest. Her hands would tremble as she prepared for the day, her breath shallow with worry. Yet one morning, rather than fighting this familiar sensation, she paused and whispered, "I recognize you as power in disguise." In that moment of acceptance, the trembling transformed into tingling possibility. The universe speaks through sensation before words. Every quickened heartbeat, every moment of hesitation, carries encoded wisdom about your deepening connection to desire. Fear arrives not as warning, but as announcement, heralding the proximity of your expanding edge. Gordon Ames stood backstage, his presentation notes quivering in his grasp. Instead of seeking calm, he embraced the surge of energy coursing through his body. "This is my power rising," he reminded himself. That simple shift in perception transformed nervous energy into magnetic presence. His words flowed with an aliveness that captivated his audience, born from the very energy he had previously resisted. The teaching reveals itself. Fear is not the opposite of alignment, but often its harbinger. When you feel afraid, you stand at the threshold of expansion. The universe has not abandoned you in these moments. It has drawn close enough for you to feel its magnitude. Practice. When fear rises within you, pause and greet it with gentle curiosity. Place your hand where you feel it most intensely in your body. Breathe deeply and whisper, "I welcome this energy as proof of my expanding edge." Feel the sensation transform from resistance to movement, from contraction to flow. This is the alchemy of allowing, the moment when fear reveals itself as the first sparkle of manifestation in motion. Chapter 19. The Law of Resonant Relationships. In the quiet corners of a small coastal town, Nancy Lou Ford wondered why each relationship echoed familiar patterns of disappointment. Her days unfolded like chapters from the same book, with different characters playing identical roles. Yet within this repetition lay a truth as ancient as the tides. The law of attraction reveals that our relationships serve as pristine mirrors, reflecting back our deepest beliefs about worthiness. The universe speaks through patterns, and what appears as coincidence carries sacred instruction. Each person entering your life arrives as a messenger, carrying reflections of your inner dialogue. When you honor yourself, life responds with honor. When you doubt your worth, circumstances arrange to confirm that doubt. Nancy's transformation began when she recognized that her partner's behaviors weren't random. They were precise echoes of her own self-talk. The critical voice she used against herself found its way into their words. The forgiveness she withheld from her own mistakes manifested as their judgment. In this recognition lay liberation. Raymond Pratt's story illuminates this principle with crystalline clarity. For years he attracted partners who seemed to confirm his unworthiness. Then one morning, gazing into his bathroom mirror, he began a practice of speaking to himself with the gentleness he yearned to receive. Each day, he replaced harsh self-judgment with compassionate understanding. As his inner dialogue softened, a remarkable shift occurred. New connections emerged that matched his elevated frequency of self-regard. The law of attraction teaches that relationships aren't about finding the right person. They're about becoming the right vibration. When you alter your emotional signature, the universe must respond with matching experiences. This isn't mystical. It's mathematical, like attracts like, with unfailing precision. Your relationship patterns reveal your self-concept with perfect accuracy. Those who seem to hurt you are reflecting wounds you've yet to heal. Those who uplift you mirror the aspects of yourself you've learned to love. In this way, Every interaction becomes a sacred opportunity for self-discovery. Think of your heart as a broadcasting station. It continually transmits your beliefs about love, worth, and belonging. The universe, ever faithful to your signal, arranges encounters that match your frequency. When you transmit self-love, life responds with loving reflections. When you broadcast worthiness, circumstances align to confirm your value. Ancient practice. As you move through this day, approach each encounter as a mirror specially arranged for your awakening. In every face you meet, look for yourself smiling back. Send waves of appreciation to the unseen choreography that brings exactly the reflections you need for growth. Let each interaction remind you that the universe orchestrates relationships with exquisite precision, always matching your dominant vibration about love and worth. Chapter 20. The Conversation of Dreams. In the depths of night, when the world grows quiet and consciousness shifts its shape, the universe continues its eternal dialogue. Effie Jane Turner once dismissed her dreams as meaningless fragments, scattered pieces of daily thoughts reassembled at random. Each morning, she would brush aside the vivid images that had visited her, treating them as mere entertainment for a sleeping mind. Yet the unseen speaks in many tongues, and dreams represent one of its most intimate languages. As Effie began noticing patterns, a blue door appearing 3 nights before she found her perfect home, a white dove preceding unexpected news of peace, she discovered that her dreams were not random at all. They were previews of energetic alignments taking form in the physical world. The law of attraction operates ceaselessly, whether in waking life or dream time. Your dreams reveal the vibrational essence of manifestations approaching your experience. They offer glimpses of possibilities crystallizing in the field of infinite potential, showing you what resonates with your current frequency. Floyd Bishop's journey illuminates this truth with particular clarity. A skeptical businessman by day, he began keeping a simple dream journal by his bedside. Each morning, he would note the feelings and symbols that had appeared in his night visions. Gradually, he noticed that his most successful ventures were preceded by dreams of flowing water or soaring birds. When he learned to align his morning energy with these positive dream omens, his intuitive decisions became remarkably precise. The teaching here transcends simple dream interpretation. Your subconscious mind speaks the native language of the universe, pure vibration translated into symbol and metaphor. When you honor these messages, you strengthen the bridge between your conscious desires and their manifestation. Dreams serve as a preview of energetic alignments nearing physical expression. That recurring symbol of abundance, that persistent scene of harmony, these are not random. They are the universe's way of showing you what vibrations you're currently attracting, what possibilities are taking shape in response to your dominant frequencies. The veil between dreaming and waking life is thinner than most realize. Your dreams offer a glimpse into the quantum field where all possibilities exist simultaneously. By paying attention to these nighttime messages, you attune yourself to the subtle language of manifestation. Ancient practice. Upon awakening each morning, before the world rushes in with its demands, pause to recall even the smallest fragment of your dreams. Hold this image or feeling gently in your awareness, thanking it for its guidance. Welcome its message into your day as part of the ongoing dialogue between you and the infinite. Let your dream wisdom infuse your waking hours with deeper understanding, knowing that consciousness speaks in many tongues, and all of them lead to truth. Part 3. The Mastery of Alignment. Chapter 21. The Radiance of Service. In a quiet village there lived a weaver named Asha, who created the most intricate tapestries, yet kept them hidden from the world. She feared that sharing her art would leave her with nothing, clinging to each piece like a treasure that might never be replaced. Day after day, she wove beauty in solitude, her house filled with unseen masterpieces that gathered dust in darkened rooms. The universe whispers its most vital truths through paradox. What you grasp tightly constricts. What you release multiplies. This ancient wisdom reveals that abundance flows not through accumulation, but through circulation. Every act of genuine giving creates space for new blessings to enter. Ida Mae Walton discovered this truth when she stopped measuring her worth against others' success. She had spent years chasing wealth through careful calculation, treating every transaction as a battle to acquire more. Yet true prosperity remained elusive until she learned to give from her natural talents without expecting return. The moment she released the grip of comparison and began offering her gifts freely, the universe responded with unexpected channels of abundance. This mirrors the eternal law. Wealth is not a finite resource to be hoarded, but an energy that expands through movement. When you give from authentic joy rather than obligation, you signal to the universe your trust in its unlimited supply. This trust becomes a magnet, attracting more opportunities for prosperity. Consider Marvin Ellis, who transformed his struggling consultancy by shifting from rigid fee structures to serving where he felt called. He began offering his expertise in community workshops, sharing insights that previously he had carefully guarded. To his amazement, these acts of generous spirit brought new clients who valued his work at levels beyond his previous asking price. His story teaches that abundance flows most freely when we stop trying to control its channels. The second story speaks of a merchant named Kai, who learned this lesson through an unexpected teacher. A street musician who played with such joy that passers-by couldn't help but stop and listen. The musician never demanded payment, yet his open case filled naturally with coins and notes. Watching this, Kai understood that true wealth comes not from clever negotiation, but from offering one's gifts with an open heart. Your soul recognizes this wisdom. Every time you share from authentic abundance rather than fear of lack, you align with the universal flow of prosperity. This is not about depleting yourself. Rather, it's about recognizing that your well of creativity and value never runs dry when you give from joy. Ancient practice of circulation. Offer something small freely today, and notice how giving opens internal valves that let prosperity stream through naturally. This might be a skill you usually charge for, a kind word you typically withhold, or a resource you generally keep private. The size of the gift matters less than the spirit of its giving. Watch how this simple act shifts your relationship with abundance, creating space for unexpected blessings to flow into your life. Chapter 22. The Momentum of Joy. In the shade of an ancient oak tree, a merchant counted his losses after a poor trading season. Each tally deepened his frown until a passing child's laughter startled him from his misery. Looking up, He witnessed the pure delight of youngsters chasing butterflies, their joy infectious, transforming his mood despite his circumstances. The law of attraction operates through emotional momentum. Just as a rolling stone gathers speed, your feelings accumulate evidence to support themselves. When you maintain a vibration of lack, more experiences of scarcity appear. Yet the same principle works in reverse. Sustained joy magnetizes circumstances that justify that joy. The universe does not distinguish between reasons and results. What you feel becomes your reality's blueprint, regardless of what prompted that feeling. This is why forced positivity fails, while authentic appreciation succeeds. The difference lies not in the words spoken, but in the genuine vibration maintained. Consider Annie Lou Price, who discovered this truth through living it. She noticed her anxious days drew more reasons for anxiety, while her peaceful moments attracted serendipity. The simple act of appreciating her morning coffee began attracting pleasant surprises throughout her day. She hadn't changed her circumstances. She had changed her emotional starting point. Herman Tate's experience validates this principle. For 1 week, he committed to celebrating every small victory, a completed task, a friendly exchange, a moment of clarity. He didn't wait for major achievements to feel successful. He generated the feeling of success through appreciation of what was already working. His career expanded not because he worked harder, but because his sustained positive momentum attracted opportunities that matched his new vibration. Joy is not the reward for success. It is the catalyst that generates it. When you understand this, you realize that waiting for circumstances to improve before feeling better is backwards. Your emotional state is the magnet that draws experiences, not their result. The universe mirrors back whatever signal you consistently broadcast. A worried mind creates scenarios that justify worry. A grateful heart attracts events that inspire more gratitude. This is not magical thinking. It is the physics of consciousness in action. Sacred practice. Let laughter come easily today. Its vibration trains reality to echo delight faster than worry ever could. Begin each morning with the intention to find humor in small moments. When you catch yourself smiling, amplify that feeling. Let joy build upon joy until your vibration becomes a beacon that reality has no choice but to match. Chapter 23. The Wisdom of the Present Self. In the heart of a bustling market, a young merchant sat beneath faded awnings, surrounded by shelves of herbs and spices. Each morning she would gaze at the sky, pleading for signs of what choices to make. Her name was Tessie Mae Douglas, and she believed wisdom lived somewhere in tomorrow. The universe speaks through the vessel of now. Like water reflecting sky, your present awareness mirrors infinite intelligence. The past whispers through memory, while future beckons through desire. Yet both converge in this sacred moment of being. When you seek guidance, the answer already breathes within you, waiting not for time to pass, but for stillness to deepen. Tessie Mae spent years searching fortune tellers and sacred texts until exhaustion taught her that wisdom doesn't arrive, it awakens. The teaching reveals that your highest knowing isn't separated by time, but by attention. Your wisest self isn't waiting in some distant future. It pulses in your every heartbeat, speaking through intuition's gentle nudge. In the quiet hills beyond the city, Calvin Post discovered this truth through an unexpected path. Each evening, he would sit beneath an ancient oak tree, imagining conversations with his future self. Yet something shifted when he realized the voice answering wasn't echoing from ahead in time. It resonated from his core, immediate and alive. His questions met instant clarity, not because tomorrow was speaking, but because presence itself contains all wisdom. The law of attraction operates through this timeless awareness. When you align with your inner knowing, you tap into the universe's vast intelligence. It isn't about reaching forward or backward through time. It's about sinking deeper into now. The answers you seek already exist in the field of infinite possibility that surrounds you in every moment. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths, allowing each exhale to carry away the weight of seeking. Feel yourself settling into the present moment, like a leaf floating down to rest on still water. When a question arises in your mind, don't reach for answers. Simply rest in the space of asking. Notice what sensations emerge in your body, what subtle feelings or impressions surface. Trust that wisdom speaks first in whispers, in gentle knowing rather than loud proclamation. Let your inner guidance communicate through the language of feeling, through the quiet certainty that precedes words. This is your connection to universal intelligence, always accessible in the eternal now. Chapter 24. The Silence That Speaks. In the quiet mountains, there lived a wandering sage named Jen, who carried only a small wooden bowl. Travelers would journey far to seek his wisdom, but upon finding him, they discovered he spoke not a word. Instead, he would motion for them to sit beside the stream, where the water's gentle song taught more than 1,000 lectures could convey. The law of vibration reveals that wisdom flows most freely in the spaces between thoughts. Like a radio seeking clear reception, your consciousness must tune to stillness to receive the universe's most sacred transmissions. When your mind races with endless chatter, it creates static that drowns out the subtle frequencies of divine guidance. Minnie Ray Phillips embodied this lesson through her journey from constant conversation to conscious quiet. Her transformation began when exhaustion finally silenced her perpetual stream of words. In that unexpected pause, she felt something shift, as if she had stumbled upon a hidden frequency where truth resided. The more she allowed herself to rest in silence, the more life began orchestrating perfect moments of synchronicity. This mirrors the ancient teaching that the divine speaks in whispers, not shouts. The universe's guidance system operates through subtle impressions, gentle nudges, and quiet knowing. But these delicate signals can only be perceived when we create space for them to emerge. Albert Ross discovered this truth through necessity rather than choice. After losing his voice to illness for 3 months, he began practicing morning meditation simply to find peace with his temporary silence. Yet in those quiet dawn hours, he noticed something extraordinary. Life began flowing with remarkable precision. Opportunities appeared at perfect moments, solutions arose effortlessly, and even his relationships deepened without words. His experience demonstrates that silence is not an absence but a presence. It is not empty space, but rather a field rich with information and intelligence. When we quiet our mental chatter, we tune to the frequency where the universe's wisdom gathers. Consider how a lake must be still to reflect the stars clearly. Your consciousness operates by the same principle. The more you allow moments of pure silence, the more accurately you can reflect and receive the guidance that surrounds you always. The universe's language is vibration, and its most profound messages resonate at frequencies that can only be felt in stillness. Each time you pause the internal dialogue, you open a channel for divine intelligence to flow through your awareness. These teachings are captured in the tale of the desert mystic who spent 40 days in silence. When asked what he learned, he wrote only this: "In stillness, I heard what the universe had been trying to tell me all along." The practice of sacred silence. Find a quiet place and sit comfortably. For the next few minutes, focus your attention on the spaces between sounds. Notice the subtle vibrations that exist in what appears to be silence. Let your awareness rest in these gaps, understanding that this is where the universe's guidance gathers. As thoughts arise, simply observe them passing like clouds, returning your focus to the quiet beneath all noise. This practice attunes your being to the frequency where wisdom flows most clearly. Chapter 25. The Gratitude of Challenge. In the depths of an ancient valley, there lived a potter named Aziz, who cursed each crack that appeared in his finest works. Every imperfection seemed to mock his mastery, until one day, as sunlight streamed through his workshop window, he noticed how the flaws in his pottery caught the light in ways perfection never could. Through these mistakes, patterns of extraordinary beauty emerged, telling stories far more compelling than unblemished surfaces ever could. The universe speaks through what appears to be broken. When life seems to crack your carefully crafted plans, it is not punishment, but precision. A higher intelligence creating space for light to enter in ways your limited vision could not foresee. What you perceive as opposition is often protection, guiding you toward an upgraded version of your desire. Consider how water, meeting an obstacle in its path, does not cease its journey but finds new channels, often creating more beautiful patterns than a straight course would allow. Similarly, the law of attraction works through what appears to be resistance, using it to refine and redirect energy toward your highest good. When you stand before what seems like a wall, remember that the universe is not blocking your path. It is building your strength, clarifying your intention, or protecting you from a lesser manifestation than what you truly deserve. Each obstacle carries within it the seeds of greater opportunity, waiting to bloom in the soil of your acceptance. This truth was illuminated by the tale of the merchant Samuel, who lost his entire shipment of goods in a storm at sea. In his despair, he was forced to stay in a small coastal town while waiting for the next vessel. During this unwanted pause, he discovered rare spices growing wild in the surrounding hills, a discovery that brought him fortune far beyond what his original cargo would have yielded. The teaching becomes clear. What appears as delay often serves as divine protection. When you resist resistance, you create additional friction. When you embrace it as guidance, you allow the universe to redirect you towards something better, aligned with your highest good. For this reason, masters of manifestation have long understood that gratitude for obstacles is among the most powerful practices. Each challenge is an invitation to elevate your vibration, to find the gift within the apparent setback, to discover strength you didn't know you possessed. Sacred practice. Sit quietly, with eyes closed. Bring to mind one current challenge that seems to block your path. Now imagine this obstacle as a wise teacher in disguise. Speak these words with genuine feeling. I bless this situation as a bearer of hidden gifts. I trust in divine timing and perfect unfolding. Thank you for guiding me toward something even better than I imagined. Notice how resistance softens as you hold this perspective, allowing universal forces to work more freely on your behalf. In this acceptance lies the secret of transformed manifestation. For what you resist persists, but what you embrace with gratitude reveals its hidden grace. Chapter 26. The Infinite Feedback Loop. In the ancient valleys of understanding, a truth emerges like morning mist clearing to reveal crystal clarity. Patterns in your life are sacred messages, not random occurrences. They speak of vibrations held constant, of lessons awaiting their moment of transformation. Hattie Sue Cole walked the same path to work each day, passing the same broken window, encountering the same gruff neighbor. Until one morning, a realization dawned. These repetitions weren't punishment, but patient instruction. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, creates perfect circles of experience until we step off the wheel of unconscious reaction. The law of attraction operates with precise mathematics. What you consistently feel returns with clockwork reliability. Each pattern serves as a mirror, reflecting back the energy you maintain. When Hattie began greeting that gruff neighbor with genuine warmth, not only did his demeanor soften, but similar encounters throughout her day transformed as well. Clyde Morton's story illuminates this principle with striking clarity. His bank account seemed perpetually low despite increasing income. Each month brought the same financial strain until he recognized his thoughts of never enough were creating an endless loop of scarcity. The moment he began appreciating what he had, celebrating small abundances, the pattern shifted. His finances didn't transform overnight, but new opportunities emerged. Unexpected refunds appeared, and gradually his relationship with money evolved from fear to flow. The universe operates like a master teacher, presenting the same lesson in various forms until comprehension dawns. These patterns aren't meant to frustrate. They're designed to illuminate. Each repetition carries the same loving message. Here lies an opportunity for vibrational adjustment. When you notice recurring situations, whether in relationships, finances, or daily interactions, understand you're receiving cosmic feedback. These patterns persist not to punish, but to point toward powerful potential for growth. The moment you shift your vibration around a recurring theme, the pattern must transform. It's universal law. Ancient practice of pattern transcendence. Sit quietly and bring to mind a situation that keeps repeating in your life. Rather than resisting its appearance, express gratitude for its persistence. Say softly, "I thank you, faithful pattern, for your dedication to my growth. I recognize your message and release my old response." Feel the subtle shift as you embrace this pattern as teacher rather than tormentor. In this acceptance lies the seed of transformation, and in your gratitude blooms the flower of new beginnings. Chapter 27. The Celebration Before Arrival. Pearl Ann Rogers stood before her mirror each morning, rehearsing success speeches to an empty room. For months, she waited to feel worthy of genuine celebration, convincing herself that joy must follow achievement. The universe watched patiently as she postponed her happiness, knowing that she had inversed the sacred order of manifestation. Through silent whispers of insight, Pearl Ann began to understand that celebration is not a reward. It is a magnetic force that draws corresponding realities into being. The act of rejoicing ahead of visible proof creates an energetic mold into which circumstances naturally flow. This truth reveals itself through countless examples across time. In ancient temples, harvest festivals preceded planting, for the wise ones knew that celebrating abundance called it forth. The universe responds not to what is, but to the emotional frequency you maintain. Willis Grant grasped this principle through an unexpected channel. Each evening, he would pour 2 glasses of wine, one for himself and one for his future success. He would raise both glasses, speaking to his victories as if they were honored guests already seated at his table. What began as a private ritual transformed into prophetic practice. Within weeks, opportunities arose that mirrored his specific toasts. The business partnership he had honored manifested. The recognition he had celebrated appeared. The prosperity he had welcomed flourished. The teaching crystallizes. Joy is not a consequence of manifestation. It is the preview the universe requires to begin its work. When you celebrate in advance, you hand the unseen realm a precise blueprint of your desired reality. Your gratitude becomes the architect's drawing, your celebration the foundation upon which manifestation builds. In this universal dance, timing bends to match your emotional preparation. The future you celebrate shapes itself around the contours of your present joy. This is why masters of manifestation treat their desires as memories rather than wishes, toasting what will be as if reminiscing about what was. The manifestation practice. Select an evening hour when you can be undisturbed. Set your space as if preparing for an honored guest. Pour 2 glasses, one for you, one for your desire made manifest. Raise both glasses and speak to your future success as if it sits across from you, already achieved. Let gratitude fill your chest as you toast the perfection of what is coming. Feel the warmth of celebration now, knowing that this very feeling is the magnet that draws your desire from the unseen into the seen. Make this your daily ceremony, and watch as reality arranges itself to match your advance appreciation. Chapter 28. The Light Between Thoughts. In the ancient scrolls of wisdom, a story speaks of a merchant who carried 2 empty jars to market each day. While others mocked his seemingly pointless ritual, he understood that space itself held value. For how else could anything new be received? Dorothy Lynn Briggs embodied this teaching in modern times. Each morning she would recite affirmations with fierce dedication, filling every moment with words of power. Yet manifestation remained elusive, like a butterfly evading an eager child's grasp. Her breakthrough came not through adding more words, but through discovering the sacred pause between them. The universe speaks in silence. Just as music finds its rhythm in the spaces between notes, the law of attraction operates most powerfully in the gaps between thoughts. These intervals are not empty. They are fertile ground where the unseen plants its seeds of inspiration. Stanley Rhodes discovered this truth during a period of creative blockage. As a writer, he had filled countless chapters with forced ideas until exhaustion drove him to surrender. In that surrender, he found power. Sitting in his garden one morning, allowing his mind to float free of intention, inspiration descended like gentle rain. The words that followed flowed not from effort, but from alignment with the natural rhythm of universal mind. The teaching reveals itself. When we cease the constant internal chatter, we create space for the universe to whisper its secrets. These whispers carry more power than all our shouted affirmations combined. The law of attraction responds not to the volume of our requests, but to the clarity of our reception. Think of your mind as a radio. Static thoughts create interference, while moments of pure awareness tune you to the frequency of infinite intelligence. In these spaces between thoughts, manifestation occurs with elegant precision. The universe requires no convincing. It simply awaits your quiet readiness to receive. When you release the need to fill every moment with mental activity, you enter the realm where miracles gestate. This is not passive waiting, but active allowing, the highest form of cooperation with universal law. Ancient practice of the interval. Find a comfortable position and close your eyes. Rather than adding new thoughts, simply observe the spaces between your existing ones. Rest in these gaps, feeling them expand like gentle breaths. Notice how creativity and insight naturally glide through these quiet intervals. This is where connection calls home, in the sacred space between what was and what will be. Chapter 29. The Circle Returns to Source. Long ago, in a modest village, there lived a woman who spent her days polishing mirrors in the marketplace. Each morning, she meticulously cleaned and arranged her collection, believing her prosperity depended on their pristine surfaces. Yet, no matter how bright they shone, her fortunes remained unchanged. The universe speaks through reflection, and what you see externally mirrors your inner state. Maddie Jo Wallace discovered this truth after years of seeking validation from the world around her. She had crafted perfect vision boards, recited endless affirmations, and followed every external ritual she could find. Yet manifestation remained elusive until she understood that the outer world simply echoes inner harmony. The law of attraction operates not as a force pushing and pulling external events, but as a precise reflection of consciousness itself. Your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions create ripples in the unseen field, which then manifests as your perceived reality. This truth reveals why identical circumstances can yield vastly different experiences for different people. Each perceives through the lens of their inner state. When Elmer Scott faced financial turbulence in his business, he noticed how his colleagues reacted with panic while he maintained inner calm. Despite sharing the same external conditions, his experience differed remarkably. By cultivating peace within, regardless of outer appearances, he watched as circumstances rearranged themselves to match his internal frequency. Within months, opportunities emerged that transformed his situation, not because he manipulated external factors, but because he adjusted his inner dial to tranquility. The field of infinite possibility responds not to what you do, but to who you are being. External action without internal alignment is like trying to change your reflection by moving the mirror. The image shifts, but the source remains unchanged. True manifestation flows from the inside out, never the reverse. Consider how a projector casts images onto a screen. The screen itself remains neutral, simply displaying whatever the projector emanates. Your consciousness is the projector, and physical reality is the screen. Change the inner film, and the outer picture must follow suit. A merchant once traveled far seeking precious gems, only to return home and find his garden filled with the very stones he sought. His journey taught him that treasures manifest not from distance traveled, but from inner recognition of value. Similarly, your desires already exist within the field of infinite possibility. They simply await your inner alignment to become visible. To align with this truth, find a quiet moment and practice this ancient technique. Sit comfortably and close your eyes. Place your attention gently in the center of your chest, where your heart resides. Breathe slowly and deeply, as if tending a sacred flame within. With each breath, imagine this inner light growing stronger, warmer, more radiant. Feel its glow extending outward, knowing that the universe mirrors this inner illumination in perfect symmetry. Stay with this practice until you sense the harmony between inner and outer realms. Chapter 30. The Continuum of Creation. In an ancient desert oasis, a young merchant watched water endlessly bubble from a spring, wondering why nature never tired of creating. Through this simple observation, a timeless truth emerged. The universe knows no completion, only eternal unfolding. The law of attraction reveals itself not as a tool for achieving final destinations, but as the very pulse of existence itself. Just as a flower blooms, seeds, and births new flowers in endless cycles, your creative power flows in perpetual expansion. Each manifestation becomes the foundation for grander visions. Flora Dean Simmons embodied this wisdom after years of believing that once she manifested her dreams, she would finally arrive. She checked off every goal on her list: the dream home, the thriving business, the loving partnership, yet found herself touched by new inspirations. Initially, this troubled her, until she understood that fresh desires weren't signs of lack, but evidence of life's natural expansion. When Roy Barker achieved his lifelong ambition of opening a chain of wellness centers, he noticed something remarkable. Rather than feeling finished, his heart quickened with visions of healing retreats in mountain sanctuaries. As he allowed these new dreams to surface without resistance, opportunities arose that surpassed his original plans. His story teaches us that satisfaction serves not as an ending, but as fertile soil from which grander dreams take root. The universe speaks through the language of eternal becoming. Each achievement opens doorways to greater possibilities, like stairs ascending infinitely toward the light. When you align with this truth, manifestation transforms from a finite process into a dance of continuous creation. Your relationship with desire shifts from seeking completion to embracing expansion. The law of attraction responds not to your goals, but to your recognition that you are an eternal creator, expressing through endless cycles of imagination and manifestation. Each desire fulfilled becomes a platform from which to dream anew. Consider how a musician masters one piece only to be called toward more complex compositions, or how an artist's completion of one canvas awakens visions of the next. This is the natural order of the universe expressing through you, not a journey toward an end point, but an eternal spiral of creative expansion. Sacred practice. Settle into a quiet space and bring to mind a desire you've already manifested. Feel the satisfaction of that achievement. Then allow yourself to sense the subtle stirring of new dreams emerging. Welcome these fresh inspirations with amusement, seeing them as confirmation that you are alive within the creative heartbeat of eternity. Let each new desire remind you of your eternal nature as a channel through which the infinite expresses itself. Part 4. The Expansion Beyond Knowing. Chapter 31. The Return of Knowing. In the depths of an ancient monastery, a traveler discovered inscriptions that spoke of mirrors as portals to truth. The monks had long understood that what we seek externally already breathes within us. These wisdom keepers knew the greatest revelation comes when the seeker recognizes their own reflection as the answer they pursue. The universe speaks through you, not to you. When you understand this fundamental truth, the search for external validation transforms into an awakening to your own divine nature. The law of attraction operates not as a force outside yourself, but as the natural expression of your inherent creative power. Consider how a flower doesn't seek permission to bloom. It simply expresses its nature. Similarly, your manifestations flow most effortlessly when you recognize yourself as the source of creation rather than its supplicant. The invisible realm that you've been petitioning has always been your own expanded consciousness, wearing the mask of separation. Each moment of seeking becomes unnecessary once you embrace that you are what you seek. Signs and synchronicities are not messages from a distant source, but reflections of your own awakened awareness. The universe doesn't speak to you through coincidence. It speaks as you through experience. When you stand before a mirror, you witness the physical embodiment of universal consciousness gazing back at you. Those eyes, looking back, hold all the wisdom of creation. That face reflects the same force that ignites stars and orchestrates galaxies. You are not separate from the power you seek to harness. You are its living expression. The ancient teaching unveils itself. Manifestation is not about attracting what is foreign, but recognizing what is inherent. Every desire you hold exists because you are already its source. The outer world simply conforms to match your inner knowing of this truth. Sacred practice. Stand before any reflection today and greet it as universe embodied, feeling the infinite smile looking back through your eyes. Recognize that the power you seek has always resided within the one gazing back at you. Let this moment of self-recognition become your daily reminder that you are not the seeker, you are the found. Chapter 32. The Horizon Within. Abigail Rose Thatcher once believed horizons existed only where the eyes could see, until meditation revealed the endlessness inside her. Each morning, as she sat in silence, the walls of limitation dissolved, showing her that boundaries were merely thoughts given substance through belief. The universe had whispered this truth countless times through synchronicities and subtle signs. Yet she needed to become still enough to hear it. The teaching invites recognition that outer possibilities expand only as inner permission grows. When you grant yourself liberty to transcend perceived constraints, the unseen field responds by rearranging circumstances to match your expanded awareness. The law of attraction operates not through pushing against barriers, but through dissolving them in consciousness first. Franklin Dove's transformation stands as testament to this principle. Living in a small town where generations had followed the same prescribed path, he dared to imagine life beyond inherited limits. Rather than forcing change through action, he allowed his inner vista to stretch beyond familiar shores. As his internal landscape grew more spacious, new collaborations emerged effortlessly. Opportunities that seemed impossibly distant suddenly appeared within reach, not because external reality had changed, but because his inner map had been redrawn. Every inner horizon, once explored, redraws the map of matter. The universe mirrors back precisely the breadth of possibility you hold within. Those who sense infinity in their heart find their circumstances expanding to match that vastness. Those who maintain rigid borders in consciousness discover life conforming to those same constraints. The field of infinite potential awaits your recognition. It has always been there, patient as eternity, ready to express through you the moment you release the habit of limitation. Your task is not to create possibility, but to remember it was never truly bound. Sit quietly and picture a horizon glowing inside your chest, extending farther with each grateful breath, knowing your reality stretches exactly that far. Let this practice remind you that the universe knows no bounds except those we maintain through belief. As you breathe and expand, feel the gentle dissolution of every imagined barrier, every self-imposed restriction, falling away like shadows at dawn. Chapter 33. The Pulse of Compassion. In the quiet depths of an ancient monastery, a wise monk observed the young novice Corabelle Hastings as she exhausted herself trying to heal every wounded soul who crossed her path. Day after day, she would return depleted, her own light dimming as she poured herself into others' darkness. The monk waited patiently until one evening, when she sat weeping from fatigue, to share a truth that would transform her understanding of compassion. "Your heart bleeds for others," he said, "but have you noticed that those you try hardest to save often remain unchanged?" This simple observation opened a door to deeper wisdom about the nature of healing and the law of attraction. The universe operates through resonance, not through force. When you attempt to fix another's pain while carrying your own unhealed wounds, you merely amplify the frequency of struggle. True healing emerges when you first align with wholeness within yourself. This alignment naturally radiates outward, touching others without depleting your essence. Consider Douglas Kane, a counselor who spent years trying to solve his clients' problems through sheer determination. His breakthrough came when he stopped seeing them as broken and instead held space for their innate wisdom to emerge. By shifting his own vibration to one of trust and allowing, he witnessed profound transformations unfold effortlessly. His clients began arriving at their own solutions, guided by the resonance of his acceptance rather than his advice. The law of attraction teaches that what you radiate multiplies. When you transmit the frequency of wholeness rather than the energy of fixing, you create a field where healing naturally occurs. This is why masters throughout time have emphasized inner peace as the foundation for outer change. They understood that personal alignment is the most powerful medicine we can offer the world. Compassion's true nature is not a depleting force, but a regenerative one. When you allow yourself to rest in the vibration of love without attachment to outcomes, you become a clear channel through which universal wisdom can flow. This is the difference between trying to rescue others and creating a space where transformation can naturally unfold. Each time you notice yourself straining to heal another, pause and remember. The highest service you can offer is the resonance of your own alignment. Let compassion fill your own cup first, then overflow naturally to others. This is not selfishness. It is the sacred mathematics of energy exchange. The universe responds not to your actions, but to your frequency. When you radiate wholeness, you invite others to remember their own. This is how real change propagates through the field of consciousness, not through force, but through remembrance. Practice. As compassion rises today, let it fill you first before it flows outward, proving that personal alignment is the seed of universal healing. Chapter 34. The Dance of Co-creation. In the quiet spaces between heartbeats, a profound truth emerges. The power of manifestation multiplies when hearts beat in harmony. Beulah Ann Weston discovered this wisdom not through books or teachings, but through life's gentle revelations. She had spent years in solitary practice, whispering affirmations into empty rooms, until an unexpected gathering changed everything. The law of attraction operates like a symphony, each instrument beautiful alone, but transcendent when played in concert. Beulah noticed that when she shared her dreams with those who genuinely celebrated her vision, manifestation accelerated beyond measure. It wasn't mere encouragement. It was energetic amplification. The universe responds to frequency, and when multiple souls align in pure positive intention, that frequency becomes impossible to ignore. Like a choir whose voices blend to shake the rafters, collective intention creates vibrations strong enough to reshape reality itself. Edgar Klein witnessed this phenomenon while working with his neighborhood council. Previous attempts at community improvement had been mired in bureaucracy and heavy-handed planning. But when he gathered friends in his garden one evening, their shared laughter and light-hearted visioning sparked a chain of synchronicities. Within weeks, resources appeared unexpectedly, volunteers emerged from unlikely places, and what had seemed impossible manifested with ease. The teaching reveals itself. When we join our energetic signatures in joy rather than strain, we create a field of possibility far greater than the sum of its parts. The universe delights in collective celebration, responding to the harmony of unified hearts with swift and often surprising manifestations. This is not about group pressure or forced cooperation. Rather, it's about the natural amplification that occurs when souls freely align in positive expectation. Every shared smile, every moment of mutual appreciation, every collaborative vision held in joy. These create ripples in the universal field that return as waves of manifestation. Your practice. Think kindly of those around you, feeling your energies linking like harmonious notes, and trust the song to summon beautiful results for all participants. Chapter 35. The Memory of Light. In a small cottage at the edge of town lived Nettie Lou Franklin, who spent her evenings gazing at fading photographs, believing each remembered joy was forever lost to time. She mourned these moments as though they were butterflies trapped in amber, beautiful but forever still. Yet the universe holds a deeper truth about the nature of memory and manifestation. The teaching reveals itself with gentle clarity. Memories are not mere echoes of what was, but living frequencies waiting to be reawakened. Each cherished recollection carries within it a specific vibrational pattern that, when accessed consciously, can reshape present reality. The law of attraction responds not to time, but to the aliveness of emotion, whether that emotion springs from a current experience or a treasured memory. When Clyde Ramsey discovered an old box of childhood photographs in his attic, he expected to feel only the ache of time's passage. Instead, as he held each image, allowing himself to fully re-enter the wonder of those captured moments, something extraordinary began to unfold. The pure delight he had known as a child collecting seashells began to pulse through his present awareness. Within days, his stalled artistic projects suddenly flowed with renewed inspiration, carrying the same sense of discovery and play that had marked his early years. His story illuminates the profound truth that joy leaves no permanent forwarding address. It lives wherever we choose to feel it. The universe recognizes no distinction between a happiness experienced today and one remembered from decades past. Both carry equal power to attract matching circumstances when fully embraced in the now. What appears as nostalgia is actually an invitation to reclaim powerful manifesting frequencies that you have already mastered. Every warm memory serves as a tuning fork, helping you rediscover vibrations of joy, wonder, and possibility that remain eternally accessible. The past is not a lost country, but a living library of emotional alignments, each one ready to infuse your present with its transformative power. Ancient wisdom practice. Find a quiet moment and bring to mind a memory that fills you with warmth and light. Allow yourself to sink fully into the feeling of that experience, not just remembering it, but becoming it again. Feel its particular frequency flowing through your body as though it were happening now. Let this remembered joy saturate your present moment until you recognize that it never truly left. It simply awaits your conscious return to its vibration. In this way, memory becomes not a marker of loss, but a portal to present creation. Chapter 36. The Infinite Threshold. In the heart of an ancient valley there lived a wandering mystic who collected wisdom like others gathered flowers. Each evening, he would share tales with travelers about the infinite nature of spiritual growth. "The path never ends," he would say, "for ending would deny the very essence of being. The universe speaks through eternal motion. Your journey of consciousness resembles not a straight line, but an expanding spiral, each turn revealing deeper understanding of what you thought you already knew. Just as a rose unfolds petal by petal, each layer more intricate than the last, so too does your awareness bloom in endless succession. The law of attraction operates not as a destination, but as an eternal dance. Each manifestation opens the door to greater possibilities. Each realization births new questions. Each answer spawns fresh wonder. This is the sacred design, not to reach a final point, but to experience the joy of perpetual becoming. Hazel Ruth Moody spent years pursuing enlightenment as though it were a distant shore. She meditated for hours, attended countless retreats, and collected certificates of spiritual achievement. Yet peace eluded her until the morning she watched a dewdrop catch the sunrise and understood the light she sought was in the seeking itself. The universe delights in your expansion. There is no final destination because you are an eternal being, designed for infinite growth. When Byron Talley ceased asking, "Am I there yet?" and began savoring each step of his journey. The very questions that once tormented him transformed into sweet invitations to explore further. His story reminds us that the search for completion often blinds us to the completeness already present in each moment. The law of attraction responds not to your arrival, but to your allowing, your willingness to remain open to endless unfolding. Consider how a child learns to walk. Each step is both an arrival and a beginning. The first successful step doesn't end the journey. It opens the possibility of running, dancing, climbing. Similarly, each spiritual realization is not a final achievement, but a doorway to deeper understanding. The unseen forces celebrate your eternal becoming. Every new desire that rises in your heart is not a sign of lack, but a gift of expansion. The universe plants these seeds of longing not to frustrate you, but to guide you into ever greater expressions of joy. Ancient practice. Rest in this moment and smile at your newest desire. Feel how it pulls you forward like a gentle breeze. Appreciate that existence unfolds forever in your favor, and let your heart expand with the recognition that you are eternal becoming in human form. In this practice of endless appreciation, you align with the infinite nature of your own being. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. The wisdom you have encountered through these chapters is not new knowledge, but ancient remembering. Like footprints in sand that were always yours, each teaching has led you back to your own inner knowing. Through parables and principles, through silence and celebration, you have been gently guided to recognize what your soul never forgot. You are the author of your experience. The law of attraction reveals itself not as complex theory, but as your natural state of being. Just as a flower needs no instruction to turn toward sunlight, you need no training to align with joy. Every chapter has simply awakened what was dormant, illuminated what was shadowed, and confirmed what your heart whispered all along. As you close these chapters in the spring of 2026, know that timing itself conspired to place this message in your hands when recognition was ripe. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, arranged this moment of clarity not as coincidence, but as confirmation. You were ready to remember. Your journey through this book has been more than reading. It has been remembrance. Each principle explored, each story shared, each practice offered has been a key unlocking doors within your own consciousness. The power was never in the words, but in your recognition of their truth. Let this book stand not as instruction, but as mirror, reflecting back your own innate understanding of universal law. The law of attraction flows through you as naturally as breath, as consistently as heartbeat. You have always known how to create. You have simply remembered how to trust. Now, as you move forward, carry this knowing not as learned wisdom, but as remembered truth. Every moment of appreciation, every feeling of alignment, every choice for joy is you speaking your native tongue of vibration. The message you sought was always encoded in your own frequency. Welcome home to your natural state of creation.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.